We've qualified for the World Cup. Go and compete.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Put 'em Under Pressure podcast, the 14th podcast of this season. My name is Kieran and I'm joined by Adrian and Connor. It's the day after the FA Cup final. I'm sure we'll get to that in a moment. We wanted to do a Premier League season review. We'll kick it off, Adrian, with the best moment or your best moment of this season.
I didn't want to be too predictable and just say like the trophy lift or like when Chelsea beat City. So I went for a very specific goal, and it was Mo Salah's winner against United. Yeah.
Interesting.
It probably wasn't my favourite. I mean, the trophy lift and all those things were better.
Yeah.
But just for something different, yeah, I thought everything about it. It was probably the first moment that I really felt a sigh of relief, like we probably will actually win the league, because it would be typical fucking United to like get an equaliser and then, you know, momentum is gone and all this kind of stuff. So
that was the game where when he scores, he takes the shirt off and Alisson's knee sliding and stuff, right?
Yeah, because they were 1-0 up and United were really pushing for a goal for like the last 20 minutes. Martial should have equalised, and it was a corner to United last minute. Alisson caught the ball and booted it down, and Salah, like even your man James was like tackling him the whole time, and it was like, he's gonna get him, you're gonna fucking lose it. And Salah had never scored against United.
Yes.
And slots it past the hay, and that's when they started chanting, "We're gonna win the league."
Wow.
Yeah.
When was that? What month?
What month? Christ. Well, there were fans there.
It was after Christmas, wasn't it? By January, February,
I'd say.
Yeah.
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 Few games before lockdown. It was before like their form just started to dip. You know, when they kind of
When they lost to Atletico and then
lost to Atletico, lost to Watford. I think had like a fairly scrappy game against West Ham. Yeah. Just before all that.
Okay.
So I'd say February probably.
I mean, I have to say, I thought it was going to be predictable Liverpool winning the league, but that's
Yeah, I mean,
alternative.
It was just one little golden nugget moment in a sea of golden nugget moments.
a bowl of golden nuggets.
Yeah. Can we
nice.
get the golden nugget team in there?
Sure.
Just a little
What
jingle.
the fuck is that?
There probably is one.
Yeah, you work your magic, man.
Yeah, this is your job.
If there is a golden nugget theme song, right.
Play it right now.
And pause.
Howdy, partner. We've struck gold. Great new golden nuggets. Yeah, honey crunching good. And pesky bandits won't get this tasty cereal.
Blah, blah, still piece new golden nuggets.
Quit lollygagging around, partner. Kids can't wait for these tasty new golden nuggets. New golden nuggets. They're honey crunching good.
Flynn, what do you think yours was?
Well, the only good moment of the season for Arsenal was yesterday when they won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Really, the only good moment of the whole season was
Controversial
the FA
game.
Cup. I wouldn't say it's that controversial. It had a controversial moment, which was the red card, the second yellow.
Yeah.
First was yellow. The second yellow was not a second yellow, but
No.
on the other hand, at that point Arsenal were already 2-1 up, and Chelsea, they looked a bit shit, to be honest. So I wouldn't say that was the deciding factor in the game.
No, Aubameyang was unbelievable.
Very good. Was that his last hurrah for Arsenal?
From the sound of the post-match interviews, it was, because every interview was up to him. It's like, well done, you've won the cup. Now, are you going to stay? And he's like, I just want to celebrate the cup today.
Yeah.
I was like,
One of those. He also dropped it.
He did, yeah. He picked up the bass. You're not supposed to pick up the bass, and
Yeah, but why they even make them like that? Like,
Look.
it's next to waiting to happen, isn't it?
it is, yeah.
They only get touched like once a year, though, don't
Yeah, I know.
They're definitely like passed around, I'd say. I'd say the amount of people who've dropped that, it's probably fucked. Like.
Well, it's very suspicious, isn't it? When when the title goes down to the final day, and like I remember when most recent one I can think of was Newcastle and Brighton in the Championship, opposite ends of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And Newcastle had to better Brighton's result, and they scored in like the 89th minute to win the league, and out comes the trophy at 90th minute.
Yeah.
It's like, where was that?
Yeah, I don't understand that, because even I see sometimes on the Liverpool like Insta, it looks like they pass around the cup to the players, so each player gets to keep it for like a week or something, because all of a sudden like one of the players will throw up 10 pictures of them in the Champions League trophy. So there must be something like that. But even when like Liverpool have a Champions League at Anfield, if you visit, it's there. I think that's because they won it 5 times. But like, surely
Had to get in.
like once. So you can go to Liverpool now. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit, but you can go to Liverpool now and see the new Champions League, right?
Right.
Because they still have it.
Yeah.
But once someone else wins it, that's surely gone. They don't just have like a replica there or something, or do they? I have no idea.
I don't know. Well, but then you go to like the new camp and you go do the tour, and they have thousands of trophies, and you're like, some of these are still being played for. Like
That's
they have
what
the
I
La
mean.
Liga, but I know that they retire trophies after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Like you get one with when you win 5 times in a row, you get to keep it, and they issue a new one. But then when you go on these stadium tours and there's hundreds of trophies,
That's
it's
what I
like
mean.
they can't all have been retired.
Yeah.
It must be replicas. Definitely the last day title wins have to be replicas. Like Newcastle had to have got
that's
Before I used to see they had helicopters, because they would have like the sky cam saying on the last day of the season showing a helicopter carrying the trophy, and it's like going back and forth between places. And I was like,
And the engraver is on the helicopter. Like. And the helicopters don't go that quick either.
like helicopter running out of fuel as well up there. If it goes to extra time.
Yeah, because there's no way between. I think they were playing Villa, so it was only Birmingham and Newcastle. But like that's not a 3-minute helicopter ride, unless they got like the Concorde out for the
That's
day.
some fella in like a Reliant Robin having to drive up and down the road. Dead boy.
But yeah, Aubameyang looks like he might be leaving. But when will he leave now is the question, because I think there's going to be a few transfers, like the Rangers player Alfredo Morelos.
Yeah.
He's playing for them, and their Scottish season started. He's going to play like Europa League games, but he's going to Lille when Ligue 1 starts again.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
That
So
new?
I want relatively new, but it makes me wonder when, like Aubameyang for an example, when he will go, because the transfer window, is that going to open after the Europa League and Champions League finishes, or who knows?
Is it open now?
Who knows? I don't
It's
know.
open now, I think.
I think it's open now, and it closes in October, something like that.
Because if he is going and someone buys him, they're going to say, no way you're playing in Europa League.
Yeah.
Because you've been injured for the start of the new season. So we'll see. I had I guess I'll give a Palace favourite moment, and I'll give a league favourite moment.
Yeah.
Watford getting relegated was obviously a very, very high point, or a high moment for me. Awfully run club. It still pisses me off that they got to the playoff final with Palace, and we did beat them, but with a whole team on loan from Udinese. None of them were English. None of them were English players. Mm-hmm. The way that they've sacked managers, and the way they've got that dickhead Troy Deeney up front, you know?
Yeah.
Get back where you belong.
Yeah.
Tin pot. I also, honourable mention, I guess, is that the Big Six, or the top 4, was shaken up a little bit this year. I know it fell back into place, but it did make the year interesting when you were looking at the likes of Sheffield United and Wolves and stuff up there competing, while Tottenham and Arsenal were struggling in the league. Palace best moment though, outside of beating Brighton away.
What a moment.
I know, telling you. It's been a bad year.
That's what you live for.
Winning 2-1 at Old Trafford. Jordan Ayew
Yes.
and Patrick Van Aanholt in the last minute.
It's like the first time.
Yeah,
won
first
at
time in
Old
the Premier
Trafford?
League, yeah. Because we beat him in the Carling Cup.
Oh, he's
Won
at the
the
wheel.
matters. Oh, he's at the wheel, yeah.
They think he's a good manager now too.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's played twice as many games, or has managed twice as many games for United than Arteta has for Arsenal, who's got the most trophies.
Is this
Yeah.
as good a time as any to talk about Ollie and Lampard and Arteta and that kind of stuff, or will we save it?
I mean, look, while it's fresh, we can just
Okay.
dive in. We can dive in.
Well, who wants to go first? I feel like they're most relevant.
I mean, I'm biased, but what I guess you could tell me as neutrals what you think between the three of them.
Well, I think that Lampard's getting a tough doing now, right? Because, yes, he inherited a huge squad with a good bunch of players, but would Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have been able to get Champions League with a transfer embargo? No.
No, because the only reason they ever got there was they signed Bruno Fernandes, who scored like 20 penalties.
Exactly. So I think Lampard gets a hard doing in comparison to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In comparison to Arteta, I'd argue that yes, probably Arteta's edging it because I feel the Arsenal squad is far less superior. Is probably the wrong word, but it doesn't have the depth that Chelsea had. They didn't actually need to buy anyone. They just needed to use the team that they already had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I would. I think Arteta would be my favourite, and I'm not honestly just saying that because you're here.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
I am probably most impressed with Lampard. Honestly, but when he was signed, and they had the transfer thing, I thought a top half finish would be decent.
Yeah.
Because their team is just like they didn't really have a team. Like Mount, Abraham, is it Tomori?
Yeah.
All these guys like didn't,
Reece James.
Yeah.
we didn't know them. They came out of nowhere. So he was there with an aging squad, losing his best player. Like Willian was probably the only player you'd really
fact
acknowledge.
that, yeah.
Giroud was kind of done. We all thought Giroud was
Kante's a bit washed.
Yeah.
a back four. That's
Still quite bad.
done. So I think I've been most impressed with him. Like this Solskjaer thing drives me up the fucking walls. what I'll say is I think he's recruited quite well, and not just for Bruno Fernandes. I think generally speaking, most of who he's brought in has improved the team. Whatever about the prices of Maguire and stuff, and Wan-Bissaka, he's generally recruited well. But I mean, if you ask a United supporter, do you want to see him there in 5 years' time, let alone 10 years' time? They're definitely not going to want it. Surely.
Oh no, they would. Some of them. Some of them believe it.
Well, they need to
And
pull
it-
their head out of their arse.
Yeah, and it could. I mean, it could happen. I mean,
It's not going
the
to.
club aren't going to show faith in Solskjaer. Like, he could be fired next year. I'd actually put money on him getting sacked next year because if they have another string of games like they've had where they can't win for love nor money, United is bigger than any player and any manager. They'll always replace.
Yeah.
Pochettino's there waiting.
Yeah, he hasn't got a new job yet.
Yeah.
because he's waiting.
But like
Yeah.
there's no consistency.
No.
You know, they'll go on a 10-game winning run and then they'll be shite, and then 8-game winning run and shite. So
Yeah. And this is it. Look,
I think they'll be found out in the Champions League.
yeah, and when they play every game to just get penalties, and the fact that they've got like 25 over 2 years or whatever it was, it's just it certainly helps, doesn't it? Turn an even game.
Yeah, but imagine giving obviously Lampard has bought seemingly well so far. But imagine giving Arteta now 100 million.
That's the thing. I think that's probably the argument, or what settles the argument for me, is that you either take the money away and see who would manage best, who's actually like the coach or the trainer best, or else give them all an equal budget. And I'd argue too that Arteta's been in good hands recently with like being under Pep's wing.
Yeah, Arteta he's been there the shortest amount of time. I think in some ways he's a bit overrated, but I think I have a lot of faith in him, and I think he's the man for the future.
Yeah.
But there have been some bad results as well, like getting knocked out of the Europa League by Olympiacos, losing to Brighton, which really ended any hope of Champions League football, and losing to Villa as well was a bit. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's bad. But on the other hand, he's also beaten in the short space of time. He's beaten Liverpool, City, Chelsea, United, basically everyone. He's beaten all the big teams, and apart from the Liverpool game, which was a bit lucky. I mean, he hasn't had much of a problem. Tactically, he's got it right pretty well, and I think a lot of people expected him to try to imitate Pep. But it's been more like Simeone, really. They're playing really like pragmatic football. And the water breaks, I've noticed, make a huge difference, because every time there's a water break in the game, with Arteta, he's there screaming at him, giving him instructions, and then they go out after a water break and the game completely changes. And I notice that happens all the time. So he seems to be pretty good at adjusting tactically, and he actually made David Luiz and Mustafi and Martinez look like a good defense.
Yeah.
Despite David Luiz's best efforts.
And the other thing is too, speaking tactically, I think Arteta is superior too, because when we've seen Chelsea or United change their formation, it's been ineffective. I'm thinking back to the FA Cup semi-final where United played 3-5-2 and were absolutely dreadful until they turned it back to whoever they usually play, or whatever the change in tactic was. It just didn't work. Whereas Arsenal do seem to have a bit of a fluid formation where, you could put Xhaka as a very holding midfielder or just ball playing midfielder too. So there's a bit of variety and it's funny that we're talking about Xhaka and Luis and Arsenal.
I know.
This, but
That's the one thing, is that all these players who I thought were like no hopers, like I thought Ceballos, like I thought he was a complete washout, a flop. I was like, no loss, he's on a loan, he can go back to Madrid. Now I'm like, oh my god, we need to keep this guy so bad. Xhaka, who got stripped of the captaincy for giving it the big one to the fans,
and he did.
Has been like the midfield maestro. And David Luiz, well, I was going to talk about that Man City game as my favourite match of the season, but that performance in that match, and then Mustafi actually looking like a good defender. This Martinez, who's been unbelievable, ridiculously good
when he wasn't expecting it. I mean, Leno was the set and forget keeper,
and Aubameyang has been played as a winger, and the work rate he's putting in is kind of crazy, because I always thought Aubameyang, you stick him up front, he's a poacher. You just get the ball into him and he'll tap it in or whatever. But Arteta's like, no, you're a hard-working winger.
You're like Salah now, and Mane.
And
it works.
He's better than ever, and he was already pretty good. So that's the only hope I have for Aubameyang staying, is that he's supposedly he is enjoying life and he's won a trophy now. So maybe,
just
who
like
knows?
Robin van Persie was. Wouldn't it be so terrible if Aubameyang went to United?
Yeah.
Of course, Van Persie didn't win a trophy though.
Fair.
Yeah. So
God, yeah, that's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
he was on the bench in like 2005 FA Cup final.
It counts.
Okay, so he won a trophy as a sub that didn't play, I think.
Yeah. But you must put down Arsenal season as a success now, right?
Ooh, I guess so. You can't say winning a trophy is not, but it's been like the worst season ever. Apart from that, like, my God,
but
they're 8. That is just.
I'm sure we'll get back
to it. Like a
to
long time ago, though, that Emery was there.
It does.
It seems like a
long time ago.
But I was thinking back, and I was thinking of the best Palace moments was the the win away at United. I was on holiday for that game.
God, yeah.
I was watching that in another country. Whereas that feels like so alien now, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll get to the worst parts of this season later.
I have
for Arsenal.
one or two honourable mentions.
Good.
I'm just going to say this one first, because if someone has it for later on, you can cut this.
Okay.
The Roy Keane punditry on David De Gea.
No, actually.
Okay.
That was a good one.
But is that your favourite moment?
Like one of my best moments, not a Liverpool moment, but like one of my favourite, one of the best moments of the year. Because I feel like Keane, I don't know if you feel this, but it's like a lot of it is just put on. Like a lot of it is an act. Like
Oh yeah.
That was one time I actually didn't think it was put on. I thought
because he was threatening violence.
Yeah, like I would puck the head off him for leaving in a goal. It was shit, but like, God, it's just a game, right? Jesus Christ!
You must imagine what the dressing rooms were like with that, when that United team were playing badly. They must have. Well, I know Beckham got a boot thrown at him.
Yeah,
that was the only one that kind of came out. But there must have been a bit of fisticuffs and stuff.
Yeah, I'd say he was just a bully, like.
Well, supposedly when he was at Forest, Brian Clough nutted him, like when he was like a teenager. He just knocked him on his ass. Like,
there's a lot of stories of Clough just basically physically taking tactics into his own hands. When you play as a winger, he's not playing as a winner. Gets a broken nose, plays as a winger.
My other one, a little bit different, was Ben Mee. his, Ben Mee for Burnley, his little rant against the plane that went above.
Yeah.
His stance on racism. I thought that was because they just got spanked by Man City, like 5-0.
Yep. It was very raw, wasn't
and
it?
they asked him, and he was like, "First off, I just want to say we don't support that fucking plane. We don't support that banner. We, Black Lives Matter." And I thought it was, pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of those kind of political moments this year, hasn't there?
I wonder what the crowds would be like during these taking a knee thing. These crowds.
The only way it's working, or that there isn't any opposition to it, is because it's behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
I can only relate it to. Do you remember Colin Kaepernick? When he was kneeling for the American national anthem, he played for the 49ers. Like, blood was shed, like vilified, and he's not had a job since in the league. Like, an excellent quarterback. It'd be like I don't know, like someone like Aubameyang not taking a knee and then never playing football again. Pretty mad.
Americans love their national anthem.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Putting the hand on the heart.
And the fucking planes flying over at the end every time. The jets, phew, phew, phew. It's like, alright, let's play fucking ball. Good moment, have to say. And you got to think it's the same season when all these actions have been taken. It's the same season where the United fans were making monkey gestures at Sterling.
Jesus Christ.
But it was, right? It feels like...
Well, I thought... I didn't know that was United fans. I remember that's Chelsea, no?
Well, that was the year before.
It was a different
I'm sure it was in the derby, wasn't it? Where United won. They won 2-1.
Oh, okay.
And they went to the corner, and it was like live on Sky. And Sterling was going over to take the corner kick or a throw in, and they were like right at him doing the gestures, like not even a little bit subtle. No, right front row.
Chelsea.
Chelsea did, but not that time.
Okay. God, he's had some fucking terrible time with it.
He has. Yeah, he has. And every time he stands up and is like, this isn't right, it's like, well, we're going to make it worse now.
Yeah.
So,
worst moment. So, I'll go with you first. Your worst moment. Worst moment of the season.
I really struggle with this one. Because, I don't know, maybe I'm just too in love with football. Probably not. I mean, probably worst is probably like the wrong way of putting it. But I was really annoyed in seeing Pochettino fired and then Mourinho returning to the league. I felt that was such a backwards/sideways move. It was
Again, it's kind of weird that was this season.
Yeah.
Mad.
So long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mourinho coming back, I mean, he just feels like he's dead inside now. I feel that he actually's fallen out of love with football too. And Spurs would do that to you. Do you know what I mean? They're very bland. They're a very bland team.
Yeah.
Mourinho's like a parody of himself now. Because before, when he had the funny lines, it was fine because he was winning and he was on top. Now it's just kind of, it's sad.
It is. I'd be interested to see this Amazon documentary of their season.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Because he was calling them all cunts.
You can say it.
I wanted to wait for you to say it to harmonise.
Yeah.
Cunts.
I didn't say it. Any female listeners?
Females can say cunts too.
Yeah, but they shouldn't.
You gotta get them up there, girls.
Yeah.
That ad. Yeah.
I don't see the problem with it, to be honest.
There's no problem with it. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Mourinho.
Sorry, didn't want to go off on a tangent there.
It was just a bit depressing, you know? I felt that Pochettino's done an amazing job, made Spurs better than they really should be, arguably. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest, I know they flirted with success under probably Harry Redknapp, maybe? Was that the last good times around them? Yeah. Pochettino made them a steady, regular European competition team.
Yeah. Finalists,
exactly. And if it wasn't, you could argue, if it wasn't for Liverpool being, that team, they could have been champions of Europe.
Yeah.
But, big ifs. But yeah, I mean,
that was your worst moment.
One of them.
I don't want to be shit, but I really thought it would be a Palace moment.
Well, I have loads of them, yeah.
Oh yeah. Give us one.
Alright.
The worst.
Benteke and Sacco.
What about it?
Just the fact that they take $250,000 a week away from our wage budget.
So it's not a moment, it's just a whole season.
It's a string of moments, isn't it?
What happened to Sacco? Because I thought he was...
So Sacco's probably played about fucking 4 games this year, and every one of them he's ended up with calf strain or a groin strain or a strain, a fucking strain on my health is what he is, and he takes an absolute wage off us every week. And really, when he's on the pitch, he's either solid or he's a fucking liability. And I just think that if we shipped out the two of them to China or anywhere, we get some coinage back for them. We free up that big wage budget that you could just pump somewhere else. The actual good players. The players that actually play football. Not just take up a physio table.
So a formerly key player who's on massive wages, who doesn't play anymore, and you just really want to get rid of him, but you can't because no one wants to take him on the wages.
Familiar, is
Sounds very familiar.
I was just thinking there, what ye paid Liverpool for those two players is pretty much the same as what Liverpool paid for Firmino and Mane.
That's sick, isn't it? Fucking sick. And like at the time, they were decent signings.
Yeah.
They've just gone to shit.
Yeah.
The Palace way.
Flynn, can we have your worst moment?
I would say that Brighton game was really bad because, as I said before, it was the end of any hope of, well, I thought at the time, European football, because we were staring a Man City semi-final in the face, and I was like, we had just lost to City really badly. I was like, well, probably not going to happen. So that was the only hope of getting European football at the time. And not only did they lose in embarrassing fashion, but Leno ended his season, which was a disaster at the time. It seemed like the end of the world. And also, Guendouzi hasn't played since that match, because after that game, he went up starting shit with Maupay.
Yeah.
And Arteta has basically said, you're never playing for me again.
Yeah.
So now one of our youngest prospects is getting... We're trying everything to get rid of him because Arteta wants nothing to do with him anymore.
Well, interesting point, because Mannix, one of our friends and long-time listeners, we better be, sent me a video of an interview, a podcast with Sean Dyche, and the first thing he says is when he's trying to build a team or you're trying to create a personality or a culture in a club, you have to get rid of like the Mavericks. You've got to get rid of the people that go against your goals and ethics, and that's exactly against what Arteta's trying to build, right? So that he was such a stupid move, right? He didn't he slap him around the ear and then he punched him in the stomach?
Fucking embarrassing.
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed watching that. Some people were like, "Oh, he's showing passion." I was like,
"No,
he's being a fucking knob."
He's got passion by taking the ball and putting it in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And the absolute state of him, like Psycho Bob, like trying to intimidate. Fuck off.
And that's not the first time, because this is part of a track record with Guendouzi of behaving badly. Gwen's behaving badly because they went on a team building trip to Dubai, I think, like around Christmas. And while he was there, apparently they were all in like a restaurant, like a formal restaurant, as like guests of the nation or like the prince or something. Oh, no. And Guendouzi was apparently got up on like a table and took his shirt off or something.
Oh my god!
And
I thought you were going to say took a shit.
No.
That was afterwards.
Yeah. So from that point, he was on thin ice,
Right.
And this was just the straw that broke the camel's back, which is a shame because I think he's actually got a lot of talent, but you can't keep a guy like that if he's fucking around constantly.
And that's the thing, is that it's a bit like Balotelli, is that they might be priceless, they might be invaluable to you at the minute, but just like Balotelli, he's been kicked out and unwanted in every club he goes to. So no matter how much talent he has, if you don't have a bit of sense or being sensible around yourself, you ain't getting far. Because managers don't want to put up with that shit. You know, Balotelli like attacking youth academy prospects. It's like, I could do without this.
Mm-hmm. It'd be worse if you were at a team where you had to put up with it, because if they were so good, like if you were like QPR with Tarapt or something, where like they had no choice, they just had to be like, okay, just let him do whatever he wants, because we really need it. It's worth the trade off for them. That must be miserable.
Yeah.
My worst moment of the season is, again, Liverpool related. It was losing 4-0 to City after winning the league. just very deflating. I kind of saw it coming. I figured it would either be Liverpool hammering City or City hammering Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I understand why it happened. Didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it was a bit grim.
Took a bit of the shine off, didn't it?
Did a little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also have an honourable mention for West Ham staying in the league.
Fair point. Yeah.
That the moment they were safe, I wasn't even aware. But when I found out that they were safe, I died a little inside. I'm sick shit of West Ham.
Their time will come. They're living on borrowed time.
Yeah.
That can all capitulate very soon.
Once Mark Noble retires and Declan Rice is bought by Man United for 150 million or something, they're done. So
they just have such a mismatched team that just do enough, like Palace, to be honest. Just do enough to win enough games to get yourself safe, but nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing flattering. So yeah, I'll celebrate the day.
I
had another honourable mention actually.
Oh,
the transfer windows. I thought they were quite boring.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we're living on to like, you know, back in the day, like the ones where we were like Rubino was getting flown in the country with like 30 minutes to go and stuff. Maybe we're always judging it against that. But I felt that both the summer window and the January window, of course, Bruno Fernandes was a great signing for it. But apart from that, I didn't think there was much going on.
Yeah, I mean, COVID took a wind out of sails of anything from January anyway, and then it wasn't a big hullabaloo really. When the
big ones were like Chris Smalling going to Roma and Ashley Young going to Inter and Victor Moses going to Inter and stuff, you know that's probably a poor window, right?
Yeah, there just seems to be an awful lot less like big moves recently. Maybe it's because like the big teams are happy with their squads. Like City only brought in like Rodri. Liverpool brought in pretty much no one.
Yeah.
Did City only bring in Rodri? They bought another fullback, did they?
Probably.
Angelino or Cancelo.
Yeah, like they do. Like
no track.
They do. They do top up a little bit every year, but there's no big like
There's no exciting names.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're obviously good signings for City, but well, maybe not. In fact, but yeah.
But even like Spurs can't spend. Arsenal don't have as much to spend.
Do you remember that fella that signed for Spurs, Gedson Fernandes?
Yeah. Never.
Nothing happened. Exactly. Yeah.
No, I don't.
No idea.
No, but Spurs probably have the worst signing of the season in Ndombele.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. He has to be the worst signing of this season.
I was going to say flops of the season. I'd say Ndombele.
Oh, I got one. Jack Grealish, because he dives all the time.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Flop of the season.
Jesus
I was going to say Haller at West Ham.
Yes, big, like
40 million.
Big fuss around him too.
And he was great in Germany or whatever it was. Yeah. And who else? That other striker. Joe Linton.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. He's worse than
40 million and 2 goals, so it's like 20 million a goal.
And he only got like the 2 goals post-COVID as well, I think.
I have no idea.
Well, look, it's terrible. Oh no, he's
Are we going to do
against Palace?
Are we going to do another like team of the season and flop team of the season? We did one like mid-season.
I think it's going to be too quick a turnaround for us to do another review.
Should the league starting up in a month?
Yeah. We got the Community Shield in a month, and we've got Europa League and Champions League in the middle, and then we're back into it, baby.
God damn. All right. Well, there goes that idea.
Honourable mention for worst moment for me is the end period of Emery's reign and Lundberg's temporary caretaker reign. Oh, Jesus, those were good. Totally I mean, it doesn't even seem like the season, but it was, and it was bleak, really bleak.
Is Freddie Ljungberg still part of the Arsenal side?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, sure, he was holding the cup there yesterday.
Yeah. But it was under 23s or?
I think he is. Yeah, but he's probably going to move on. I'd say in the summer. We'll see.
Watch this space.
I don't think many teams would be queuing up for him based on
that
the
cameo.
Short. I mean, it wasn't. It was bad.
It was a tough.
Look, I'll just say it was bad.
Okay, so those are our worst moments. What's the next?
The next was the funniest moment or a funny moment from the season.
Okay.
So what do you think, Adrian?
Well, maybe I should have used the De Gea stuff for this.
That was better. Funny.
Yeah. Well, that was one of my best moments. Funniest, I have two small ones. They're only little ones. I didn't know you'd be asking me this. One is when you defended David Luiz, followed by David Luiz having the worst performance ever.
But then he had a great performance.
He's been great since. But yeah, I just felt so shot down when I blamed him, and you were like, no, he's been good, and then yeah, what was it? He gave away a penalty and got sent off.
He gave away a penalty and got sent off. Yeah. Oh, and gave away the first goal. So
Yes,
he deflected the first goal. Yeah.
Was that Brighton?
That was City.
Oh, City. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Sorry.
a very, very bad game for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think David Luiz also set a record this season of most penalties given away by a player.
Yeah,
I think.
it's like 5.
Yeah.
Doesn't even sound that many really, but
Well, something to aspire to next season.
the other one I had was Newcastle thinking they'll be able to buy Mbappe.
Oh yeah.
My
what a
God.
shame.
I'm so glad that all fell apart.
Yeah.
But genuinely, they thought they'd be able to do that.
Yeah. They thought that it was like the end of Mike
Idiots.
Ashley and
Idiots.
good times.
Whatever about a takeover, but Everton are worth billions. The Palace owners are billionaires as well.
Yeah.
All these teams.
Wolves.
Yeah, the only team who's been taken over by multi-billionaires and made anything of it are probably City. Do you know? Because that was before financial fair play and all that.
Exactly.
Everton, yeah, they're buying players, but not to any huge extent. I know they spent 50 million on Richardson, but like we were just saying, Palace spent 60 million on 2 players.
We did, yeah.
So the fact that they thought that it would suddenly flick of a switch.
But that's the thing, because you have to remember, right? This delusion, I guess, is that even when City got taken over, they dealt with an awful load of shit for the
they
first
had,
couple
to,
of
they had to
seasons.
buy a lot of shit. Other than Robinho, they were buying players like Joe.
Yeah.
And who's that other guy? Well, he wasn't too bad. Rocket Santa Cruz wasn't
Yeah.
too bad.
Wayne
leading
Bridge,
the line, yeah.
Wayne Bridge was one
Bridge.
of their first big signings.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So you just don't walk into it. You have to be established to get these players. They didn't even have European football. They didn't have top
Something
half of the table.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
So-
great. Not great.
Those were 2 moments that made me chuckle.
I remember, this is really recent as well. I didn't plan for this, but I saw it earlier. You mentioned the Villa game, Arsenal Villa, where Arsenal lost and it ultimately kept Villa up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
When Aubameyang was laughing in the face of Mings at a corner, and they just subsequently just banged the goal in then from the corner.
Right.
Yeah, he was chuckling away with him. Do you know, they do the whole thing behind the hand, and he was saying something to him. Mings had none of it, and Mings just goes past him, and then Trezeguet just pops in the back of the net. Then, so yeah,
Look, whatever.
yeah, I know, right? We always bring it back to Arsenal.
I said a funny moment was when the COVID thing started and Kyle Walker put up a tweet saying stay home and save lives, and then the next day there was a story about him going to a sex orgy with 20 people in a hotel.
Very good.
Maybe Lampard and Klopp's argument was down as a funny
Oh, yeah.
moment. That was
yeah.
pretty heated, right? I mean, completely unnecessary, really.
Who was he talking to? Because he wasn't talking to Klopp, was he?
He was
Talking
first
Pep Linders, yeah,
Yeah.
he's the
team coach or whatever.
yeah. I can imagine him being a bit of a big mouth. Alright,
Yeah.
that was for remember the foul
Yeah.
when
The lead up. to the
Alexander
goal.
Arnold scored from
Yeah. It's like,
Um,
what have you won? It's like we're just about to win the Premier League.
God, yeah. I mean, that was one thing that made me think Lampard is just a bit of a knob, but
Sure, we knew that.
yeah.
We knew that.
And then he said, you won one league title and you're giving it the big one. And I was like, is he talking to Klopp or about Liverpool? Because either way, he'd be wrong.
This is Lampard, the fellow that went to West Ham's arch rivals Chelsea to make a career, and then spent his last season with Man City.
Yeah.
Such a funny move, that wasn't it? Well, did he go to
Man
US?
City,
He went to
yeah.
their loan team in Miami, I
Then
think.
he went to Miami. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or New York, was it? New
Yeah.
York.
Silly, very silly.
Yeah, his career really fizzled, didn't it?
But he was fantastic in his day.
Yeah.
That 2005 season, but just remember that game against Bolton where they won the league, and he was just couldn't touch him.
Some people were saying Mason Mount, the same age as Lampard was, he's got more goals and assists for Chelsea.
Well, there you go. he's destined for failure now.
Yeah.
That's always the way, isn't it? When they like compare a young lad against a
Oh,
great
yeah.
player,
Mm-hmm.
never hear of him
Sure,
again
Mason Greenwood might beat Shearer's all-time record apparently.
because he's scored younger.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's see that happen in the next 12 years or something.
Yeah, and Shearer was.
I mean, it's as good a bet as any.
It's as good a bet as any 18-year-old football player. Do you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like
it's
some
pretty
lad
true.
in fucking Ballincollig High School could move to England and beat Shearer's record. Anything's possible.
Yeah,
I mean, I could move to England now and become a professional footballer. Anything is possible.
I mean,
I could
some
have-
things are less likely.
I
Though.
could have a 15-year career until my mid-40s and bang in 400 goals.
mean,
It's
Yeah.
possible.
I'm
But-
rooting for you.
But it's a good sign for Greenwood that he's scoring goals at 18, is it?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think there's always pressure put on these young
Oh,
lads.
yeah.
Like Rashford. Rashford already looks like it's getting to him, and he's 23. He already looks like he has the weight of United on his shoulders when I see him play.
Yeah. I think once you hit the England national team, you're just
Yeah.
destined for
Yeah.
never living up to it because you're either overhyped or, like you say, there's so much pressure on that any mistake. We've all grown up watching former England teams and players getting vilified because they made a mistake in the World Cup or in the Euros, so
Yeah.
a lot of pressure. Pressure makes diamonds.
Rob Green recovered from it. Won the Europa League with Chelsea.
Joe Hart did. Has no club now.
Jesus, yeah.
Can't even make the fucking team at Burnley.
Yeah.
Could be a bit varied, this one, but controversial moments. I think there's been a few, and I think a lot of them revolve around the same system. Adrian, you could go first.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take this one right off the table.
Okay.
The disallowed Sheffield United goal.
Yeah.
I mean, would have totally changed. Villa would have gone down, I think, and Bournemouth would have stayed up.
Eddie
I
Howe
think
would have
so,
still
yeah.
been in a job.
Yeah. So I mean, doesn't get much more, and it's not even around VAR,
Yeah.
Oh.
which I still back tentatively at this stage. But yeah, I mean, I never really understood how. I think we were saying how that goal line technology worked. I didn't realize it was just fucking cameras.
I know.
Yeah. It really, it's like the man behind the curtain has been revealed. to us.
Yeah. So, for sure, in my opinion, that was probably the most controversial moment.
Yeah.
Because it really would have changed the outcome of it for a few clubs.
And I don't think there's been a more than a ripple against it. Everyone's mentioning it. But do you remember when West Ham stayed up and Sheffield United went down when they had Mascherano and Tevez? And basically what
Oh,
they did
yeah.
was illegal. That was thrown in West Ham's face, rightly so, for years. Sheffield United have never let it go. But this one was just kind of they made a mistake. It's alright then.
Yeah, I think at the time, they couldn't, predict how big an impact it would have. But fucking hell,
Yeah.
it was just, we actually spoke about it, so I don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
But the fact that we could see with the naked eye that it was over the line, the ref probably felt the same, but his watch never went off. He couldn't give it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And
it's
if
weird.
you think of the transfers that will or won't happen because of who got relegated, Ake's already gone from Bournemouth,
Yeah.
and Grealish might stay at Villa now since they aren't relegated,
Yeah.
and whoever. But
And Troy Deeney will rot in Watford.
Probably.
yes, probably.
Though, did you listen to him on the Louis Theroux podcast?
I didn't hear it yet. I remember you saying
worth
it.
a listen. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he opened up and showed his personal side. This doesn't change the fact he's a fucking dickhead.
Okay.
He admitted that Watford go out of their way to injure players.
Did he?
Yeah,
Yikes.
it was on Talksport,
You should not do that.
and Chris Sutton was like, "Would you not see the unsportsmanship in doing that?" And it was just after Palace Watford when Watford had injured Zaha, and he's like, "Oh yeah, but sure, Zaha's their best player. Of course we target him. Take him out of the game. Gives us an advantage."
He's clearly not the smartest man.
No,
You know?
he swore, didn't he, on TV after?
Oh yeah,
I'm
you
not that
cheeky
fucking
bastard.
old. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Nan. Sorry.
Oh.
It's like,
when he made a
Your nan logged off or like switched off the minute you got relegated. Like,
yeah,
fucking idiot.
when he made a comment a few years ago about Arsenal when they beat Arsenal, he said Arsenal don't have the cojones to beat us or something.
Yeah.
And every game since, Arsenal have like fucking destroyed Watford.
them.
Because he beat Mertesacker to a header, and they were saying like, "How did you do that?" He was like, "I just wanted it more."
Yeah,
Yeah, you're fucking
That's it.
wanker.
Yeah, get off that fucking perch now.
Yeah,
Back down.
back
to the
down
championship.
where you belong.
Yeah.
it's funny how you say that on the Through podcast. He sounds likable, is it?
He opens up about his like childhood and stuff.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I always see people say that when people go on interviews, like no matter who they are, they could be the biggest pricks in the world, and people say, "Oh, well, you know, I didn't like him before, but after listening to him, I think he's all right." No matter who they are or what they've done ever, it's just as long as they do an interview, it's been more
And
than
it's-
5 minutes. People are
And
like,
they're always the same style, like podcasts and interviews, where it's just like, open up about your deepest troubles.
But
And
if
you straight away connect with them and be like, "Oh, she said they're a fighter."
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're a prick.
But what they do, they touch on it, but he kind of always like hops over. Yeah, and I would have, been involved in some bad stuff as a kid, and I would have done that, and I went to jail. And you're like, sounds like you're a fucking asshole, and you're just whining about your shit childhood resulting in you being an asshole. But the end result is you're still a fucking asshole. Do you know what I mean? Like that bugs me when like someone that we went to school with, random person, right?
Yeah.
And if you say, "God, that guy was a prick," and they go, "Oh yeah, but he had a really tough life," or like, his parents split, or like something like that. You're like, I don't really give a shit. He's still a prick. If he's a prick to me, he's a prick to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's obviously causes for it, and
of course.
they are justified, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that everyone has to get stereotyped and grouped into that, Yeah, so anyway, fuck Troy Deeney.
Yeah,
I think
fuck you, Troy.
That's a unanimous vote there. I have one too, actually, because we mentioned the game earlier. Controversial moment. I think you met. I'm sure we mentioned the game when Liverpool beat City 3-1. Like statement of intent. They really gave their, I guess, their notice to the league that they're ready to win it. And just before Wijnaldum's goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold's blatant handball in the penalty box. If that was given as a penalty, how different this season may have been. It's a lot of ifs and buts, and we won't get back into the whole destiny talk because, as enjoyable as it was, I don't think we'll ever agree. But big moment.
Definitely, yeah. That was my honourable mention.
Ah.
Yeah, because look, for me, delighted. But honestly, as a neutral, I don't know how many neutrals would say it wasn't handball. It wasn't deliberate, but
they changed the rules
Yeah,
quite recently for that.
I
Right?
don't even know what the fucking rules for. That's offensive handballs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Defensive handballs are still, vague as fuck.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think it was could have changed things.
I think it would have.
But they were so Liverpool were just so good that day.
Yeah.
I don't know that they wouldn't have still gone and won the game.
It's true, like every champion, every good team has had the rub of the green at some point.
Yeah.
France national team rubbing the ball with their hands. You know.
Yeah, not that
fuck their hands.
not that they did much with it. Like they were booed out of the World Cup.
Yeah, it's true.
But no, definitely that's a good show.
I said a controversial moment was when City had their ban overturned or whatever it was.
yeah.
Very good, bravo.
Yeah. Not even VAR related. Although I'm reluctant to bring it up because I don't even really understand what happened exactly.
No, and apparently it's completely just, and by the book they did everything correct, and the overturn was just. Did you see the list of clubs that wrote to FIFA or it must have been UEFA to complain and say nope, they shouldn't win the appeal. Like, I mean, why they can do it, but it was like Burnley, Newcastle, Wolves, and then obviously Liverpool, United, and probably Chelsea.
Well, I know Arsenal were there because Pep was
And
giving out about Arsenal, saying that I have a lot of respect for Arsenal on the pitch, but no respect for them off it. I'm like, why the fuck are you standing up for these slave driving,
Yeah.
UAE, wherever they're from? Like, these fucking
Yeah.
I don't even know what to call them. Slave drivers, yeah, fine. But Pep is the biggest fucking hypocrite going.
Yeah.
Because he gets up on his high horse about Catalonia saying, we need to, they should, have their votes or independence or it's their right. And then it's like, so what about those people in like Qatar or wherever?
We don't think about them.
Yeah, this fucking steroid juice head who also went over there to do more steroids after he got found out in Europe as a player. Pep.
Fraudiola.
Yeah.
I can't add any more to that.
No.
That's pretty good.
I think that was pretty well summarised, Finn. Thank you very much. We've touched on it, but I was just going to say VAR all season has been a bit bonkers. I mean, it was always going to be a bit rocky the first season, but I'm not a fan of the millimetre offsides.
Was there no VAR in the FA Cup final? Or was there VAR?
What do you mean? No VAR? Oh,
Was it in use, like? Because
Yeah,
I thought
It was.
Was it? It was.
Because I remember one of the goals. Oh, the penalty. Aubameyang's penalty was reviewed.
Oh, okay.
and Martinez catching the ball on the line was reviewed.
Okay. No, that's
It
fine.
was in. It was in.
I just don't think it's going anywhere, to be honest.
No, it just needs to be. I think your point stands. It needs to be officiated better or officiated differently.
Yeah, the rules just need to be changed, totally.
Yeah. No
It's
handballs.
grand, but the rules just need to be totally changed.
No, but the VAR, the VAR works. But like we said, the handball thing when you're in an offensive play is something like if it hits an offensive player's hand at any point, goal can be ruled out. What if you're doing a fucking 30 pass move and score, and it's hit number 28 pass, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 2 minutes beforehand. That's where it needs to change.
It just needs to have a cutoff, doesn't
And
it?
the millimeter thing is bollocks. Like there has to be a point where it's considered level. Like their fucking idea was to make the lines bigger.
Yeah.
Like
Then they just crossed over
did
and
they
they're
just
like,
ask like a child like what would you do?
I would draw harder.
Yeah. Oh well, I'll draw you this line. They're like amazing, truly amazing. It's thicker, genius.
That's how they built the empires, I suppose.
Oh,
Yeah. I think the refereeing in England too is so substandard. You know, it came out, was it a tournament or two ago, that there was only one English official. It was the World Cup in Russia, and there was only one English official. And people were shocked.
Yeah.
But I think the officiating in England is just very, very poor.
yeah.
Lots of silly errors, silly mistakes, things missed. You'd argue if the referees were any good, you wouldn't need VAR.
Who was the good guy who went to
Oh, he wasn't
Dubai?
good. Mark Atkinson?
No,
Clattenburg.
Clattenburg.
Clattenburg, yeah. He's
What did
Like-
you go there for? To be a referee?
To be
Yeah.
a referee just for better money in like Dubai.
Yeah, and they gave him
Fair
like
enough.
a prezzer as well when he arrived, like as if he was a new signing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you? Fucking
it was all part of the.
money.
It was all part of like the Qatar bid and stuff.
The World
wasn't
Cup
it?
was
Anything
it?
more
Yeah.
fucking tin pot than that.
I know, right? They gave him like an honorary black kit when he signed as well.
Oh.
It's like, here you go, stick that on. That's your referee's kit.
What's the number like? 0.
No numbers. I know.
Yeah, refs are gonna start getting like fucking sponsors and stuff on the
Well,
back.
on some American sports, like you know,
Yeah.
there's more than one umpire. They have numbers and they have initials, and I think it means like back judge or something, but like they just have BJ on the back of his t-shirt.
Oy.
Brilliant.
Right.
Any more controversy? Controversy? Sean Connery coming out.
Yeah.
Controversy. Not from me. Not from.
No, well.
Well,
No, I don't know.
Do
okay.
you want to go to the last one? So,
Yeah, I think so.
the best match. Your match of the season.
Yeah, no brainer for me anyway.
What's that?
Leicester 9-0.
Oh, right. Okay.
Big win, absolute annihilation, and also a turning point for Southampton's season. We
Yeah,
all wrote
very
them off.
much so. Yeah.
They scored more points since then than Leicester did, I think.
Yep. How
Which is
Leicester
hilarious.
got, they still have European football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Europa League. Yeah.
Europa League. How Leicester still have European football when they haven't, like, they won like 3 games since January? crazy.
Wasn't Jamie Vardy out for something? Did his wife have a baby or there was something?
Yeah.
He just never came back.
Brendan Rodgers is only a flash in the pan manager, 6 months. That's it. When it counts, he just slips.
I don't know if that guy is like a brilliant manager or one of the worst managers I've ever seen.
He's going to become the greatest ever. He's going to become the new Neil Warnock, where it's just like, all right, shit, we're facing relegation. Like, we're looking down the barrel of relegation. Get him in. He'll win us three games. We'll get the 9 points to safety. Brendan Rodgers will be the next Neil Warnock.
He's a bit higher than Warnock ever got, in fairness.
I mean, they've won the same amount of Premier League titles, right?
Did Rodgers win a trophy with Liverpool?
Did he win
Nope.
nothing? Wow.
Nada.
Fucking shit.
Nada ting.
Warnock has won trophies at least, right? Like, if you take away Brendan Rodgers' Celtic wins, which is basically like a medal for showing up, what has he actually won?
Did he win anything with Swansea?
Probably
We've
like a
won-
championship
yeah.
or a playoff final or something.
Yeah.
He might have even finished second with Swansea in the championship where you get nothing.
Yeah.
That would be funny. I'm gonna
Probably, yeah.
I'm going to check that.
I don't know. I mean, it was just such a marked difference between when he was there and when Klopp came in.
Well, I think I always say this, that I think it's a bigger difference going from Hodgson or Dalglish to Rodgers than going from Rodgers to Klopp. I think it's less of a step.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, Klopp's been there 4 or 5 years at this stage, so the initial change was maybe, but I don't know. There was just a different.
When did Klopp came in the middle of a season? Did he?
It was early. It was October.
Okay, and
2015,
that season he just about squeaked Champions League, didn't he? Just got there.
No, he didn't get Champions League.
Oh yeah.
He got to the Carling Cup final and the Europa League final, and he came like 8th in the league.
Okay.
The next season, then they got
So-
Champions League, and they've been there since.
So Arteta's already ahead of Klopp. I'm just saying.
Well, fair.
I just checked Brendan Rodgers' honours just to check. And
Yeah.
he's won all everything to win with Celtic in Scotland. He won the playoff final with Swansea. But as I was searching and I was googling Brendan Rodgers, like it was Brendan Rodgers' wife, Brendan Rodgers' teeth. Were the
Teeth?
two like top searches.
I didn't realise he had a teeth thing.
Yeah, apparently so.
They all do.
They all do. Look
If
at
you were
Klopp.
rich, you would as
Klopp's
well, you know.
just fucking mental. Oh, teeth. Don't get me started on fucking teeth.
Right, best match, Flynn.
Well, the match that I most cherished was actually Watford beating Liverpool, because up to that point, that was all I had to celebrate. I was like, oh god, the season's already apocalyptic, but if Liverpool beat the Invincibles, then it's just...
Yeah, that's
It's
fair.
like reaching into the past and ruining ruining that as well. So
That was one we watched together, I'm guessing.
it is,
wasn't
yeah.
of course.
So
meant nothing for either team in the
it meant
end.
nothing in the end, but at the time it was the one that, other than obviously winning the FA Cup, which I already mentioned, so I won't go there.
That's fair.
But that was the only game that really I thoroughly enjoyed this season.
It did hype up a lot of people. Like, it was a big game to Liverpool to be unbeaten, to go from being like unbelievably good to not just lose narrowly, just get spanked.
When you think about the fact that they sacked Nigel Pearson with like
Two games.
2 games to go, and he had gotten them like that win, were they second bottom?
They were bottom at Christmas.
They were bottom at Christmas, and when he came in, he got them out of the relegation zone,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Not
That
far.
was the craziest decision I've seen.
There must have been something else, because there's no point. There was no point at all.
No.
There must have been something else.
I think it's a trigger happy board. They've done it before.
Yeah.
3 managers a season.
Yeah.
Rehiring your man as well. Gomez was
yeah.
it? They sacked him.
Is it Gomez
Gomez
Flores?
or Sanchez or
Is it
Flores actually, yeah.
Kiko Flores?
Kiko
we're
Flores.
just saying random Spanish names.
Kike
Javi Hernandez.
Kike Sanchez.
Ramos.
Is it fucking... I can't even remember the name now. I'm so confused.
Because they never last long enough.
Yeah, And they were probably thinking, well, this is how we do it, and it's worked up until now.
They had fucking Zola as manager.
Zola?
Remember
Did they?
Gianfranco Zola got promoted. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was manager during that time when they beat Leicester.
That game.
That game in the
That
playoff.
game.
Yeah.
That was the season after Palace beat them in the playoff final. And again, they had a team full of Udinese youth players.
Leicester have had some crazy decade anyway.
They have.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. They'll get relegated soon, and
That
thing will be back to normal.
That DVD
Yeah.
will be eventful.
And their owner died into in a helicopter crash. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Just in the middle of all of it.
Yeah.
Sprinkling a bit of helicopter catastrophe.
And the orgy, the Thai
Yeah.
orgy.
What?
And the racism.
You don't remember that?
No, please tell me.
Nigel
Yeah.
Pearson, when he was manager of
Yeah.
Leicester. Jesus, when I think of it now, that great escape, Leicester staying up, which was crazy as well. But Nigel Pearson was manager then, and I think the next season, during the off season, fucking American here, like, the off season.
Oh, it's a Flynn at ESPN.
Yeah. Skip. Anyway, Nigel Pearson's son, I think, who was in the youth team in Leicester, I think they all went to Thailand and they recorded themselves having like an orgy with a bunch of Thai prostitutes in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Right.
And Nigel Pearson's son, I think, was even there.
Yeah.
And he was saying all kinds of racial slurs to these people while they were like sucking them off, like.
Yeah.
God.
And the owners of Leicester at the time were Thai.
Yeah. Which is why they're still sponsored by Visit Thailand. And it's like,
Right.
Visit Thailand for what, lads?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tentatively Google that after we finish recording.
Can't believe you don't remember that.
I don't know.
Add
I
the
don't even
video
know
in at
how
the
to
end.
Google that. Leicester players Thai orgy,
I mean,
And
if
Jamie
there's
Vardy
more
was
than
in
one
the-
result, then
and it's up to the gods what comes up.
And Jamie Vardy was in the midst of all that as well, wasn't he?
No
After
doubt.
just being signed for like £1 million off Fleetwood. Just look at him now. 33 goals, Golden Boot this season.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were saying 33 goals. I was
yeah, I
like,
thought
he
you
did
said
not.
that as well.
He did score 33 goals, didn't he?
What?
23,
Maybe
In the league.
All,
In the
all
league.
competitions was 33.
Oh yeah.
maybe in all
I thought.
competitions.
Yeah. Well, he's like that age.
That's
anyway.
quite low as well, isn't it, for an average Golden Boot?
20.
It's around where I'd be thinking that Golden Boot would be. Anything less than 20 is weird. I think Anelka got it one year with like 19, didn't he? With Chelsea, he got like a
Yeah,
Golden
he
Boot. With,
did get the Golden Boot. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Still,
19.
I'm still gutted. I know this is me being Palace again, but I'm still gutted the year that Andy Johnson scored 31 goals and Henry scored like 35. It was like any other year and a Palace player would win,
He did. He
and we
did,
got relegated.
He
I
did
think,
win it some year, I think.
but not for Palace, I'd say.
Oh,
He only had 1 year in the Premier League.
or
with us.
maybe he was the top English goal scorer that year. I think.
Yeah.
is
Oh
what it
yeah, he was.
who's
Yeah.
the guy for Liverpool? Not Liverpool, Sunderland in like the early 2000s.
Kevin Phillips.
Yes.
Kevin
Yeah.
Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
Also played for Palace.
Yeah, you know, fucking Golden Boot winner in the midst of like Van Nistelrooy and Henry and all these lads.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Yeah,
Kevin Phillips.
Kevin Phillips. But that Sunderland team were great. Niall Quinn and Kevin Phillips. The big man, short man role.
A timeless
It's
combination.
like perfect.
Yes.
FIFA, just get in your big striker, get in your little striker.
Yeah.
Who's that guy- who was Keegan's partner back in the day? Keegan and
yes.
some guy.
Les Ferdinand. No.
No, it was Kevin Keegan.
For that.
Fuck.
No idea.
Oh man.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Google it.
Football didn't exist before 91 anyway.
No, exactly, yeah.
My I said best match. Obviously, I wanted to go with City match or one of those kind of games. I actually went with the probably because it's freshest in my head. Liverpool Chelsea 5-3.
Oh, I thought you were going to say when you beat Palace 4-0. I was like, you
Not! No, I wouldn't do that.
Oh man, yeah, I've just forgotten so many of these games because
That's the thing. Anything before lockdown nearly didn't happen to
Yeah.
me. But
Yeah.
the only one I wanted to say was City Liverpool 3-1. But actually, as a game, the Liverpool 5 Chelsea 3 game was
Really?
fucking class to watch.
Yeah, really interesting.
Brilliant to watch.
Yeah.
So I have no more to say on it other than look at the highlights or something.
Well, a table full of winners this season, and me. The Premier League and the FA Cup winners here.
That's it.
You know,
Did you go mental yesterday when you won?
Well, I was crocked in bed, so I was just like, yay.
Yeah, it was a state when we won, but anyway.
Yeah. I think we can wrap this season up as a success, considering all of the challenges and all of the strange moments that happened. I think the three of us can be quite happy with how our teams were and how entertaining the league was this year.
Yeah.
In the end, I guess I'm happy. Reluctantly happy.
Considering where you started and where you ended up.
Yeah.
You're like 14
Although
for
at
a
the
while.
start of the season, I thought top four was like, we were like, okay, minimum expectations this season for Emery, top four and push for a trophy, and here we are. But you gotta adjust your expectations, I guess.
Just have none, and then you're always happy.
Yeah.
That will be the expectation for next season, though, to get back to the Champions League.
Yeah.
I mean,
You kind of have to.
It's just hard these days when there's 6 or 7 teams with that expectation, you know?
That's it. Leicester just threw a spanner in the works this season. You know, no one really called them to be. I know they didn't get there in the end, but a Champions League team, and I suppose they proved that right.
Yeah, and Wolves are pushing. Everton are going to start pushing with Ancelotti. So
I heard a controversial opinion. I'll ask you guys too, right? Wolves, entertaining or boring?
I'd say more entertaining than boring.
you don't sound very entertained.
Sorry, I just yawned as I said that. I was thinking it was. I would say more entertaining than boring, but I wouldn't be turning on the TV to watch them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think they could go far in the Europa League.
Yeah, they're
I
built
mean,
for it.
Yeah, they'll give fits
Yeah.
to any team they play in that.
Yeah. I suppose entertaining as well, but I just think
But what game this season was good that you watched with them, bar like the two Man City games? Do you know?
no. I watched Liverpool play them and I thought they were good.
Yeah.
There was a point.
They gave Arsenal a hard
Yeah,
going as
like
well.
Liverpool were flying so fucking high at the point that they played them. It was like no one could score, and then Raul Jimenez scored against them, and it was like, ooh. We can concede goals, yes.
Yeah.
So, the thing for them is, can they keep hold of the players? There's already Raul Jimenez to United fucking shit going
I
on.
just think that's a lot of rubbish.
I do too, but
The reason I ask is because a fellow I follow on Twitter made the argument that they're just like the Portuguese version of Burnley. They concede very few, they score very few, they set up not to lose, and
Right.
they're like the lowest scoring team in the first half, in the first 45 minutes of the Premier League season. They score most of their goals after the 60th minute mark.
that's a stupid stat though. Like,
Is it?
yeah,
That doesn't
like,
make them entertaining though, does it?
no, but that's saying that's saying that they're not entertaining until after the 60th minute. Like Burnley are never entertaining. Do you know? At least Wolves try and pick them off towards the end or something.
Yeah, Wolves
and
are-
they have like that is it NATO? That young
Neto,
lad?
yeah.
Neto.
Traore.
Yeah,
Matt
Traore.
Doherty.
They have some really exciting players. Not Burnley.
Neves.
Irish Premier League player of the season.
Do we have to?
No.
Probably Doherty. I mean, there's
Egan?
been some young, Egan. There's been some good young
Connolly.
Irish players breaking through.
Break through.
Connolly, Obafemi, Ida,
Whichever.
and Troy Parrott hasn't broken through, but
No.
He's gone off to Millwall
Yeah.
now, isn't he?
Yeah.
but
That's
he's
what
the
Harry
youngest
Kane
of
did.
them all. So,
Harry Kane went on loan to Millwall first, and
he could have played for Ireland.
yeah, so many players could have played for Ireland. It's
Yeah.
actually
I know.
depressing.
If you imagine the team with Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Declan Rice,
Martin Keown,
a couple others, right? Young
Gerrard and Carragher could have played for Ireland.
Probably. Yeah.
Rooney, yeah.
Definitely Irish. Just look at him.
I know.
What
I
the
mean,
fuck does that mean?
Rooney looks like the stereotypical 19th century drawing of an Irishman. Like, come on.
Holy moly! I don't agree.
Fucking the English lad here giving us stick.
Oh well.
Now we know how he feels about it.
Yeah.
You're all the same to me. We wrap this one up. Another
Yeah.
successful podcast, lads.
We've that one thing to mention.
Go ahead. What is it? Oh, yes. Look. Credit where credit's due. Yeah, Dave won the fantasy football.
Day one.
They've won.
Day one.